My fellow denizens of the Under Empire, welcome to the showdown between the Skaven, who shall be led by Ikit Claw, and I believe he's going to be on a flare, and he's going to be facing off against the eternal challenger, Wulfric the Wanderer. And of course, he's going to be leading the forces of Norsca. So as far as the build goes, you guys pretty much get the picture. I decided to go with a mass gunline build. So a build like this, obviously, has some weaknesses. The front line is mostly going to be Skaven slaves. I don't think we have anything above Skaven slaves as far as our infantry goes. Actually, in the secondary line, it looks like we do have a couple groups of clan rats, but basically, we have to hammer the Norscan army so damn hard with our Rattling guns and Jezzails before they get close to us. And if we don't, it's going to be a pretty bad day, because you can see over here my opponent, the great Professor Pone, does have some Beasts of Tashnar, Norscan Ice Wolves, he's got Skin Wolves, and it looks like he does have some Rottor Horsemen, as well as more Norscan Warhounds on the far side. So there's going to be a ton of pressure coming in. However, the Rattling Guns weapons team have a nice little tooltip, which is going to kind of slow their advance a little bit, and it is the suppression mechanic. So this lowers the speed of their targets by 36%. So that's going to be putting the Berserkers down to, like, let's see, so their speed right now, that's Soul Crusher. The speed on these guys is 37, so it'll be in like the 20s, which is, you know, relatively slow. That's slower than Chaos Warriors and Chosen and stuff like that. So we're going to be trying to gun those guys down. We're going to be using the Jezzails, of course, to take down the big targets. So the Soul Crusher, not the Beasts of Tashnar, but, you know, these scary werewolves over here. What are they? The Maws of Savagery. That's right. The Maws of Savagery. Man, I think there was like a time when I used to call my dog that. Like when the Norsca patch first came out, I was like, oh, Wookie, you're the Maw of Savagery. I don't know. It just brings back a funny memory. But anyways, here we do have 4 groups of the Rattling Guns weapons teams, and they're just going to be going balls deep on these Berserkers. Now, in order for a build like this to work, now, if this were a bit of a vacuum, and let's just say I didn't have this like forward pressure here with the Doom players, I would be in absolute trouble. But again, just like in Warhammer 40k, if you have a heavy gun line, it's often not a bad idea to have a couple screens or things running interference up in the front line, slowing your opponent's advance and optimizing your guns. As such, we do have a couple of groups, or actually it's going to be Ikit Claw and 2 groups of Doom players who are going to be running interference. Basically, I'm just going to be going straight up Limp Bizkit, riding through this entire front line and basically just trying to slow them down, because again, the quicker they get into my guns, the worse the game's going to go for me. So for Pone's army, like I said, he's got a lot of hounds. He does also have the Maws of Savagery, so these guys are going to be a very good answer against the Doom players. Anti-large, armor piercing, relatively mobile with 65 speed. I think flares are a little bit faster at 72, so I need to be careful. But again, if he's chasing my flares, that is a good thing, because I can use my guns to then shoot the werewolves off the flares, which is going to be great. For the front line, he does have a bunch of Marauder Berserkers. Look at the lag. Oh my god, that is so good. He's got Berserkers in the front line, which are going to chew through pretty much any Skaven. I personally think they're a little bit overkill, but nonetheless, they'll get the job done. He's got the Soul Crusher in the back, and you can see he's already popped in Rage, which is going to give him 44% ward save. And it looks like a Familiar Balefiend with Shadows, Wulfric, the Horsemen, and the Dogs on the far side. So guys, let's get this show on the road and watch some of these guys get mowed down. So the first volleys are going to be coming in, and these guys are not having a great time. There's going to be a lot of fire coming in from the Skaven army. I basically have one group of the Rattling Guns just opening up on each of these respective squads, and these shirtless Berserkers are just being mulched by this firepower, which is pretty awesome. But they're going to be getting into the front lines. Skaven slaves are going to have a very, very bad time. Now, and Rage is going to be wearing off here in a moment, which means that my Jezzails, which I have all 3 in the back, Natty Boo Boo Sharpshooters are included, are going to be opening up and doing a ton of damage against the Soul Crusher. Now, I'm really surprised at how long these slaves held, but whenever there was kind of a point where my front line was going to break, I pull in the flares and I try and slow them down. Granted, these are the Brutes of the Hound, which means they're unbreakable. I was really hoping I would break them, but again, I thought they were just regular Berserkers. But those guys are going to be getting in, and Wulfric is going to be dropping a Pirate Ship of the Gods, going through the Rattling Guns weapons teams, not doing a lot of damage. And you can see here the Maws of Savagery and Wulfric. We're actually doing some decent damage against Ikit Claw right there, but that's good, because the Rattling Guns can just keep shooting. We're wearing down the Berserkers in the front line, and we can then switch our fire onto the Maws of Savagery, which are also taking some of this Rattling Gun fire. So if we take a big overhead look at the battlefield, some of the Berserkers have surged through, but like I said, whenever there's kind of a hole in the pocket where my opponent gets through, and oh, look at that, just like point blank, just Rattling Gun to the face. These Berserkers are just getting it so bad right here. Oh man, this is like a build I've been wanting to do for so damn long, and you know, it's a little bit risky against Norsca because they do have a fair amount of mobility, but I still think it's not bad. So the Rattling Guns are going to be opening up into these guys, and the Doom players are going to be coming into the back, attacking these guys and breaking them, and I'm basically just using them like, you know, football or soccer, as we call it here in the United States. They're kind of like a sweeper unit, just using the Ikit Claw and the flares as a sweeper to kind of just keep my backline safe. But again, some of the Berserkers and Hounds are still pressuring in, and yes, I do have a huge lead, but all it takes is one big compromise in the back line for my army to get caught and lose like 2 or 3 guns at once, and that is going to be all she wrote for my army. So over here we do have a couple werewolves who were able to get into this Rattling Guns weapon team, and they're just going to be slapping some of these rats, slapping the base a little bit. But basically, if you're going to be playing a gunline build with Skaven, you want to play it like you're playing Onion Dwarves. You want to have a very like kind of staggered formation where your forces are very far apart. So if they do get one, they're not going to be tagging like 2 units. Again, much like tabletop games or Warhammer 40,000, you don't want to have like your gun lines always like, or your 2 separate gun units right next to each other, or you know, close enough to get the buffs from your lords and things like that. But if they're too close, your opponent can tag both of them and shut down a 2-for-1. So over here you can see that there's going to be Ikit Claw and the flares still sweeping through, and some of the clan rats, these Skaven slaves, excuse me, have survived. And I did actually have 2 groups of clan rats. So those are the guys I threw in the secondary engagement. They're actually holding relatively well. Quite proud of those guys, but the back line is getting a little bit messy, and the bounce power is going back towards the middle. You can see Rattling Guns are running here, and it looks like over here these Rattling Guns are very beat up as well. So we're just having to do a bit of a tactical retreat here. But Icky Claw is in okay shape. His flares are in okay shape as well. But another group of Jezzails is going to be going down to the Norscan Tide. And you can see Wolfric here is going to be kind of hitting those guys down. And it looks like he does also have the Brutes of the Hound helping him out here. So that is definitely not fun for the Rat Boys. So right here, more Berserkers are going to be surging in. Going to be trying to get a Terror out because they are dependent on their Immunopsych from Frenzy, if I'm not mistaken. So if we can kind of Terror out those guys off, that is going to be nice. But I'm not actually sure if they have a base Immunopsych or if they get it from Frenzy. I'm pretty sure they get it from Frenzy. But anyways, the Hunter of Champions is going to get popped by Wolfric. So Wolfric has a very good buff called the Hunter of Champions, which lowers speed by 48%, armor by 30, and melee defense by 45. So it just makes your character very squishy. And even if he's not fighting it, it's a very good accentuation of your other characters that are going to be fighting it. So this is the point of the game that it's going to start going a little bit better because now I have a bit of a kill box. He wasn't able to pressure all my guns. He did get in some areas, but now that I have the advantage in terms of numbers and my guns and things like that, I can kind of just shoot across. So if he's chasing one, I can shoot him with the others. And the Rattling Guns are coming back from Rally, and they're just going to be mowing these guys down. But it looks like the Marauder Horsemen are going to be getting that juicy charge over here into the Rattling Guns weapons teams. Although that was a little bit of a limp charge for sure, but anyways, the Clan Rat should be surging in to kind of clean those guys up in a second, but I think I actually just turned the Jezzails over here, and they're just going to be opening up as the Clan Rats do get in there, and here we go, and here come the shots. That volley, probably 1 or 2 volleys will probably break those guys. They are very, very close range here, and it's going to be pretty devastating. So back in the main battle here, Wolfric the Wanderer is going to continue to try and shut down my back line, Rattling Guns, but he is going to be getting chased by flares, so he had almost killed Icket Claw. So to make sure he couldn't get Icket Claw, I grabbed my 2 flares, and I just chased Wolfric, because if he wants to fight those, that's fine. Wolfric doesn't have the best AP, and Doom Flayers do have 90 armor, plus 24 from their passive buff. Look at that. Oh man, that caster just getting mowed down there by the Rattling Guns. So we have Natty Bubo Sharpshooters back online, which is going to be huge. And at that point, it's pretty much army losses. Just going to be the last of the Berserkers, which I'm not sure where they're fighting. I think it's over here somewhere. Let's see if we can find him. Oh, yes, it's the last Berserker. Let's see his glorious end for Khorne, the Brood of the Hound. Oh, no, I'm sure Khorne is not going to love that one. So the Rats are able to shank down that Berserker, and that's going to be it. So man, what an insane game. It was a... I mean, we were both kind of messing around a little bit. Obviously, he brought the Soul Crusher, and I brought like a mass gun line. But, you know, I think there's some merit to that build. I think it would be a little bit risky against like Norsca in general, but it was pretty powerful. I mean, you could see the first 30 seconds of the engagement, we took a huge advantage in the bounce power. The Mammoth pretty much got popped. The Berserkers all got brought to like half health. But then we had that onslaught when he finally hit us, and the Hounds did get into the back line in several areas. It got a little bit messy, but the Doom players running in interference as a sweeper unit, I felt was really strong. And I think a build like this could work in a couple different matchups, not against like super blitzy factions. Like I honestly think it's not very good against Norsca in general, but again, against the build he brought, it was pretty efficient. But against like Beastmen, it probably isn't a good idea. Greenskin's a little bit risky because they can just blitz you with like Wolf Chariots and Spider Riders and stuff like that. So I think there's a couple matchups in which it could be okay. Maybe against like a slower faction like Warriors of Chaos, but even still, they're going to have Marauders. Yeah, it's tough. Marauders are super efficient. So again, very well played to Professor Pone. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the Skaven build. And if you are playing Norsca against a Skaven gunline, let me go ahead and give you guys a tip on how to deal with that. So we're going to go over there and take a look here in just a second. So we'll go to Custom Battles. We're going to find the Proud Warriors of Norsca, one of my favorite factions, actually. I really do enjoy Norsca. Wolfric isn't a bad choice. He's pretty good for going after Skaven Lords. Put him on a horse so he can chase them and, need help intercept the flares and things like that. Aside from that, I don't think you need Berserkers, really. I think you just go with, like, a ton of Marauders. So we'll get the Ice Run Marauders. Those guys are pretty good. And just go into the Sunset. Even if they go with, like, Storm Vermin or Elite Troops, they're not going to be, like, that scary. And honestly, you're just going to have Chaos Chariots, so you can just run them over. The Chariots... This pressure plus this many Marauders is going to give the Skaven a huge headache. So from there, you get a couple Norscan Ice Wolves. These guys are going to be super efficient at just like pinning things down and a Frostbite or pressure in the back line if need be. As far as the caster, you have a couple options. Let's see. Death is really good against Skaven. You just want to drop this. So what you do is you get the Spirit Leech. Faded Bean isn't really worth it in my opinion, and you get Doom and Darkness and Spirit Leech plus the aspect of the Dread Knight. So it just helps you buckle the Skaven Slaves a little bit quicker. And from there, a couple of the Javelins are going to be super good. These guys are really good against Hell Pit Abominations, Rat Ogres, that style of play. And you're going to have pretty good... I think we need a little bit more mass to kind of deal with some of the other threats. We could get the Miststalkers. They're actually not bad. The Miststalkers are going to be pretty good against like anything like Doom Flayers, Doom Wheels, things like that. And... yeah, and we have the Javelins, just protect the Javelins, and you could cut one Chariot. It's a little bit excessive, I think, with the Hounds here as well. So from here, we could get a couple Spear units, but really, I mean, the Skaven pressure in the back line, I mean, I feel like we're going to have really good battlefield control. Miststalkers are good because they have stock, so they're not going to get shot until they're very close. So by that time, hopefully, you'll have enough pressure in the back line there. The Skin Wolves aren't bad. I think the Javelins are going to cover the anti-large pretty efficiently. I mean, if they go with, like, Hell Pits and, like just a fat Skaven Death Star, I'm trying to think about what would be really crucial. probably getting a couple spear units and just like protecting. Yeah, something like this would be pretty good. So again, hopefully you guys enjoyed this showdown between the Skaven and Norsca, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.